Okie dokie boys and girls, it is day 338 of bulking to 75 kilos with calisthenics only, and today we are training hamstrings. Now, it's dark outside, it's cold as shit, and to be honest, I'm not looking forward to this one because I know it's gonna suck, but what I also know is that, if I don't do this training today, what's gonna suck even more is, when I'm cold and miserable training outside, but when I'm comfy and warm in my bed tonight, knowing that I could have trained, but I didn't, Everyone has the choice every day. If you want to train, you can do it, right? Whatever the hell it is, doesn't matter how short your training is, you have the choice to go out there and train. And if you didn't, that's your own responsibility. And once you're aware of that, it's kind of, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because of course it's gonna motivate you to keep staying consistent and do your training because you don't want to have that sucky feeling. But at some point you're also going to ask yourself, like, why the hell do I even think this way? How did it come to this? Why do I lay in my bed at night thinking that I should have trained harder when it's fucking cold outside, right? Sometimes I just want to relax, but when it comes to training and making gains, it's a good mindset to have. Everyone can train today, no matter how cold it is, no matter, how fucking dark it is or how shitty the weather is. And, I'm blessed. It's not even snowing outside yet. So I guess I can't complain yet, but I guess this is kind of the period of the year where people start talking about their winter arc, or people start making like resolutions for the new year already. But if there's, one piece of advice that I can give you is, you don't have to give a single shit about a winter arc or New Year's, If you have to, if you have some training that you want to start, right, you don't have to wait. The best moment to start was yesterday, and the second best one is right now. And you have the options, You have the choice every day. It's your choice and no one else's, but it's also your responsibility and no one else's. So if you didn't, you have yourself to blame. And, well, you can decide which one sucks more, right? Going outside in the dark and in the cold and training and feeling tired doing it, or being cozy in your bed with your hot cocoa, your cocoa milk, and basically, sitting on the thought that you could have done it, but you didn't. But yeah, that's kind of the mindset I'm having today. I don't want to go outside, but I'm gonna do it. So yeah, let's go. It's the hamstring day, like I mentioned. We're gonna start with Nordic curls, and for some reason yesterday I had this weird pull, nothing bad in my hamstring, not even from training, just one random movement, and then suddenly I noticed it was there. So today there's gonna be two options. Either I warm up and I feel it's okay, and then I'm just gonna attempt a new PR for the sets of 10 with the Nordic curls. So I'm aiming for 50 Nordic curls in one training in the form of 5 sets of 10. At the moment, my PR is 3 sets and then 5 reps. And basically, if I can do 3 sets and then 6 reps, that's a PR. But if I don't feel up to it, if I feel like my hamstring is tight or it just doesn't feel right, I'm gonna aim for some volume instead, which will be a good choice as well, seeing it's cold. So if I do a lot of volume, that's certainly gonna get me warmed up. But yeah, nothing more to say. Let's go outside. Alright, so I'm feeling tired. I'm not feeling recovered from last training where I PR'd on the Nordic curls. I'm still feeling a bit sore and just general fatigue, so I'm gonna be smart and not do any unassisted Nordic curls. I'm not gonna go for another PR Instead, I'm gonna do slow and controlled reps to basically get some blood flowing in my hamstrings. But one tip that I want to give when you are tired, you want to train when you're tired, is to work from the bottom up, Usually in your training, you work from the top down. You do the stuff that takes the most energy first, and then you work your way down, and then you do the stuff that requires less energy. But when you're tired, you want to train safely, so start with the stuff that's the easiest, and basically you work your way up from there, because every time that you feel the easy thing is okay, you can just safely go one step higher, try something more difficult, until basically you feel like you hit your wall. And then, you don't have to really calculate whatever you're capable of on the day. You can just work up to it slowly, and it's gonna be way safer. But that's what I'm gonna do today. So I started with my index finger as assistance on these Nordic curls, or the Nordic curl half rep, I should say. But basically, if in the end I feel like it's too easy, I'll move on to my pinkies. Although I must say, 10 controlled reps on the fucking index finger assistance was pretty hard already. Like, I feel it burning insanely, which I guess is a good thing, It's gonna bring the blood into the area. So 4 more sets, let's go. Alright, so I've done the not the easier stuff. This was like way harder than expected, but I've done the lower intensity, high volume stuff first. I've tested the waters. I'm super warm right now, like the pump in my hamstring is insane. So right now I can safely do 1 more set for just a normal Nordic curl, So of course I don't have a lot of energy left because I've spent most of my energy on the previous sets, but today I was feeling tired. This is just a bonus, I wasn't feeling too well, so instead of being sad that I'm not able to do all the Nordic curls that I usually do, I'm just happy that I'm able to do some, and that's the most important part. So like I mentioned earlier, build up safely. I've done the less intense stuff, the lower load stuff, the lighter stuff. I've done that first. I've got a good pump. I'm completely warmed up, and now I see I have some room for a bit of a heavier set, but that's the bonus. Alright. 1 rep is gonna be enough today. Let's head inside for the next exercise. Alright, so moving on to some hip extensions. Last time I did 5 sets of, or I tried to do 5 sets of 14, which I was trying to aim for again today. But the max on my first set, with the same weight as last time by the way, is 6 reps. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Is it because of the Nordic curls that I did them different? My hamstrings are just completely burnt out, but holy hell. I might have to lower the weight on this exercise, but let me turn off this thing for a second. When it comes to the hip extensions, I started doing this exercise because I felt it would help me on my injury with my hip. It didn't, by the way. I don't think it had any effect, but why the hell am I still doing it then, Well, it's because when I train my hamstrings with the Nordic curls, it's a heavy exercise, and it's a dangerous one. You can overtrain easily. And so I've kind of decided that for the Nordic curl, it's best if I keep my trainings to 5 or 6 sets and not go beyond that, even if I feel like I have the energy. But at the same time, it sometimes then feels like the training is not enough, right? Like there's something lacking. And this hip extension came like just at the right moment, because even though it's a boring exercise and I never feel like doing it, at the same time, afterwards, it gives me satisfaction. You know, it's an easy exercise to aim for progression, to see the hypertrophy progress or process happening. So that's why I'm still doing it, because it's hard and it gives me satisfaction. So that's what I'm gonna do today, even though there is no PR on the cards. Like, holy shit, I'm weak as hell. Let's aim for 5 sets, 4 more sets. That's a good volume to aim for. Okay, so that's it for today's training. And sometimes when you're training, you're just asking yourself why the hell you're even doing it, because it's hard and it sucks, it's uncomfortable, you don't want to be doing it. But there's one guarantee: if you don't do it, you're going to be asking yourself instead why you didn't do it, even though you could have done it, right? And I feel like the latter question, the question of why you didn't do it, is harder to answer than the first one. Because if you do your training and you do push through, afterwards you will know. But if you don't do your training, you will never know why in that moment you fucking didn't do it, because that's a decision in the past and you can never remake it. So it's better to do something and then regret it than to not do something and regret that you didn't. But yeah, that's it for today's training. Very happy with how it went. Not because of the performance, but because of the effort level. Because no matter how hard your training feels like and no matter how tired you are, there is a certain level of effort that you can give. It's gonna be different from day to day, but it's gonna be there nonetheless, whether it's a lot of effort or not. And when I say effort, I don't mean physical effort. On every single day, you can give your 100%, not in the physical sense, but in the sense of giving it your all towards the goals that you have. So if you're training for a specific goal, whether it's a physique, or you want to run, or you want to get more like muscle or get stronger, and you want to get a pull-up, whatever the fuck it may be, you have a training goal and you have an optimal way to get there. And of course, the ideal way, no one knows the best way to train, but with the knowledge that you have at the moment, you can make a decision which, according to you, according to your feeling, your gut feeling, is the best decision. And so giving your 100% does not mean completely destroying yourself so that you can't train for the next week, because that's not the optimal choice, and you know it. Making or giving your 100%, putting in 100% effort, is putting in the effort to make the best choices for your workout so that you can progress the fastest towards your goal, or the safest way to your goal, right? But that's why today I think I gave it my all, because in the circumstances I gathered the information of how I felt and where I want to head, and then I made a decision based on that. Not to destroy myself completely and being reckless, but to do a lighter workout, but still have a high intensity. It was difficult, and I feel like because of that, today's workout is fucking satisfying. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna head downstairs and have some dinner, and then I'll see you tomorrow after a good night's rest for a push day.